Welcome back, everybody. Let's put this on slideshow. Today, we're at number 161 for our DevOps SRE interview questions. We're doing this so that when you get your interview, you are ready to go. Nothing can stop you from answering those tough questions. Okay, as you may know already, before I say that, please subscribe to my channel if you're new to it. It's nothing for you, but it's a big help for my channel. It really helps out. So these are the top 15 most important topics based on data for DevOps and SRE interviews, right? The ones at the top are more important, like cloud and CI/CD. The ones at the bottom, like containers and system design, is least important, but still on the top 15. So please don't ignore them. Okay. Today we're on number one, back to number one, cloud/AWS. That's our topic today. The question is, how would you describe how you would scale an application running on EC2? So basically, you have a web server, whatever is running on a EC2 virtual machine on AWS. What options do you have to make it available in AWS, right? So basically, you don't want these applications to go down for whatever reason to make it more available. So if you may know this term, and it's also important to run 4 nines. That means your application ideally should be up 99.99% of the time. That's also called availability. Okay, so just a quick reminder to talk to my career advisor. This is his website. He's giving away a free 1 hour session to anybody who's in the job market. So please take advantage of that. Okay, now how do we do this? First of all, there is this thing called vertical scaling, right? Vertical scaling means you take the existing machine, you don't increase the number of machines, right? So you make it more powerful. You give it more CPU, or you give it more RAM or disk, or all of the above, right? You make the existing number of machines and make them more powerful machines so they can handle the traffic. That's one way. The other way is horizontal scaling. That means you add more machines to it. So let's say that you have 5 machines today. You make it you make it 20 machines, whatever, right? For that in AWS, you have I also forgot to mention on number one, on the vertical scaling, when you do that, you do have to take the machines down. So there might be a downtime associated with that. That would be one of the disadvantages. In AWS, for number two, horizontal scaling, you have auto scaling groups. You have elastic load balancer that can sit in front of the auto scaling groups or multiple machines so that traffic can be diverted to in a round robin fashion or to the least busy server behind the load balancer. You also can use launch templates, means you define what kind of machines you want, and they get spun up as you need more and more servers. So that's number two way of dealing with this. Number three is serverless. Serverless means instead of putting putting the application on a virtual machine, you actually run it on AWS Lambda, where all you do is give it the code, and the code is run whenever some endpoint is triggered, right? So your code is actually not living on a virtual machine that you're controlling. It's actually living on a container that Amazon spins up for you behind the scene. You don't even see nothing of it. All you do is put the code up. That serverless has tons of scalability, means you can literally send millions of requests to your code based on this. So that's another way of doing that. It's actually a really good way of doing it, but the problem is there's a lot of overhead to making only the code be what you need to get done. It's not as easy as putting it on a virtual machines. Now, when you do this, there are secondary considerations that you have to take care of. If you have a database in the back end, you have to think about whether or not you need caching in between your application and the database. You also have to worry about your database scaling up, right? So we didn't talk about any of that. We focused on the front end application, but for back end also, you need to start thinking about these things, right? Also, always, when you have scaling issues that you're dealing with, you need to have alerting and monitoring so that you know when things are going badly for you, right? So I hope you found this useful. If you have further questions or you have a topic that you want me to cover, please find me on LinkedIn, or you can leave a comment below. I will see you next time.